All right. So we are live now. All right. So everybody's starting to log in. Here we go. We got one more to send out. Then we'll get rocking and rolling. All right, there we have it. Dustin, what's good? You say, yes, up, everyone. Sid, what's good, Sid? Crazy Wayfair rumors floating around the tank this week. Nah, they didn't tank. They actually rallied even higher, busting through a lot of layers, which makes things interesting always. All right, so I can catch the tube on that side. All right. Let's see what we caught this week. All right, gang. So welcome to GamePlan Sunday. Today is July 12, 2020. And we're going to take a look at the markets here. We're going to take a look at what occurred over the past week, information that we know is coming down the pipeline, and try to put this all together so we can, configure a pipeline and make some money. So we're going to start off with the pipeline. What's coming down this week right here, right on the website. Make sure you guys check out the website if you already haven't checked that out. But this is just a preview. This is a news feed that shows up on a website, so you can always catch the latest news right here on the site. So earnings is coming up this week, so understand that earnings is back in play. Y'all know how earnings season is. It gets crazy. Crazy volatility comes in the market every earnings season, 4 times a year. Here we go again. This week is going to be kicked off by the financials, of course. Monday we got Pepsi that's going to be reporting. Tuesday, we got the largest banks, Citigroup, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. They're going to be reporting. We got the National Federation of Independent Business report. I don't really think much is going to change there. In fact, they're actually optimistic, which is pretty good. The Bureau of Labor Statistics released the June CPI numbers, so we get some inflation here. Again, they've seen this gain in 1.1%. Again, they're just tracking inflation according to their way. The inflation is here because they're printing money. So as long as they print money, that's going to be inflation. But of course, they want to try to put it together in the CPI number. I don't think it's going to have much impact on the markets. Wednesday, we got more banks: ASML Holding, Bank of New York Mellon, Goldman Sachs, PNC Financials, US Bancorp. We do have United Health Group that's going to be there on Wednesday. So we'll be taking a look at that. I'll be interested in that one. The Bank of Japan is announcing its monetary policy decision. We already know what they're going to do with that. Federal Reserve Bank of New York releases Empire State Manufacturing. Everybody is optimistic, basically. Thursday, we got Abbott Laboratories. I don't play with them biotech stocks. Bank of America, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, Netflix. Netflix is definitely going to be watching Netflix this week. We're going to see what that's looking like. The Census Bureau report retail sales data for June. Let's see. Yep, after an all-time spike, they're expecting more optimism there. The National Association of Home Builders released housing market index expectation for 64 reading, up from June's 58. So they're optimistic there. We got BlackRock, Kansas City Southern, and State Street reporting their reports, their earnings on Friday. And E-Trade Financial holds a special shareholder meeting to seek approval for the proposed merger with Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley bought E-Trade. So we saw a lot of that happening right at the when the market started crashing. We saw a lot of companies actually just starting to buy each other out and stuff like that. So that was one of those situations. That was back in February. So let's see. The University of Michigan releases Consumer Sentiment Index for July, and more residential construction. I don't think the residential construction stuff is going to be anything relevant though. But yeah, so again, this is the website, Wall Street Jap Boys. Make sure you guys check it out. The chat room is right here for those that don't know. Shows right up on the bottom of the screen. So especially for you returning members, a lot of things have changed over the short period of time. So make sure you get back acquainted with the website if you haven't been there in a while. We understand that life is catching up with people. But the chat room is right here. The plays are in here. Everything is popping. It's right there. So you can do individual chats with your peers. You can do video calls and everything that you can pretty much do on Facebook, you could do at Wall Street Jap Boys now. So just understand that. All right. So we're going to kick that off with that. Let's take a look here at the markets. All right. Bingo. So we know it's coming down the pipeline this week. Last week, well, there was a lot of big plays. Okay. We had the kickoff with Tesla, which is crazy. I think I did that wrong. So Tesla blowing through levels. Tesla blowing through all kind of levels. Very interesting. I really haven't even followed any stories on here. I do see that we have earnings coming up. So it looks like they're trying to pump this bad boy before earnings. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to occur from their earnings, but it's just definitely an overbought territory. In fact, I think there were reports coming out saying that Elon Musk is now richer than Warren Buffett. Okay, which that's just asinine, right? There's no way they should be, but again, it's a lot of speculation pumping up into the stock. This used to be the #1 short stock, the stock to short, a year ago, and now it's just going through the moon, right? And so I guess whoever's buying at these highs, they're speculating super hard. So Tesla, that was a big mover. We had Amazon also. Amazon was moving big. In fact, Jonathan, I don't think he's here right now, but Jonathan was having some nice plays off in Amazon in our chat room, in our group this week. So that was lots of money that was made up in there. To start the weeks off, I had some Chinese exposure. Let's take a look at Alibaba as the #1 contender. So we had a squeeze set up right here in Alibaba. That was your squeeze pop off right here. You got all the signals that fired long. As soon as he caught that right there, that was bingo. Scaling. And I love it when it tags the Fibonacci extension, perfectly right up in here. Bingo. So that's interesting. Nice play in there. And the thing is, when you see price move away from the mean, this is going to be this line right here, this average. Just understand that price got to come back to it. All right. So if anybody looking at short, you short those things when they hit that resistance up here and they come down. That's how you make your money, when you short up at these tops like this. But you pay attention to the price itself stays close to the mean itself. If it goes too far away, it's got to come back. So we call that reversion to the mean. So got some hits up at the top of that ceiling in there. So that was pretty nice. All right, let's take a look here at the indices here real quick. So the Nasdaq is where all the juice is at. All right, this is the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has lots of juice in it. This is where all the juice is at. And a lot of this is, economic reasons, I would say. Although it looks like the tech bubble, the tech bubble that we had in 2000. What's interesting is that we have a lot of changes, business changes. Everybody's trying to go into this digital world, I always talk about we live in Matrix, right? Well, we're getting more matrixy as we go into this digital atmosphere, and tech stocks are going to keep on going. So that's just, they're just going to keep going because a lot of companies are trying to integrate into, technology, right? In fact, I just saw a report, I don't know, sometime this past week about Tyson's Food are going to be having, I guess, robots chopping the chicken up or whatever. And even though they know that humans do the job better, it's just, competition, and it's a business move, right? So you have a lot of companies that are, moving up also because of their integration and changing over using technology. So tech stocks pretty much move the Nasdaq. So you get a lot of that. If you want some tech exposure, this is what we were looking at. Now, you see the Nasdaq already blew through my ceilings here, my first ceilings, and right here at the 127, we got another extension way up here at the top. Now, what's interesting is from the previous rise, which is up here, the Nasdaq is the only index that's blown over that level. Okay, the rest of the indices have not blown over that level. They are trying to get to that level. So let's go back to the ES. All right. And make sure you guys hit that like button, share this video with your friends, loved ones, and make sure you get the notifications. So hit that bell so that you don't miss anything. So anyway, here we go. S&P 500. Here go my levels that I got up here. Now, I think this is interesting. We're looking at a squeeze setup right here on the S&P 500. The trend is up. It is in overbought territory. So you got to kind of, you got to put some hedges on with this. So you got to have some security, basically. Got to have your stop losses if you're trying to make this play. Bullish on this play because everything is telling us bullish here. That's what we're looking at. I do have from this extension, this is the first zone right here. 3250 level, and then this is the key level that I got right here, the 127 extension. So looking at a move right up into here. The question is, if it get up into that level, will we come back down? Will we be seeing something that looks like a double tops, right? That could be a play out situation. Although it's in a squeeze, the squeeze normally pushes it a little further. But we saw the fizzed out on us last time when it came back up to this resistance level. Look what happened last time in the squeeze. It got rejected. So I believe that we're going to make another test right up here. And we'll see if the squeeze can push it through to that 127 extension right up in here. If not, then we'll be going into a double tops situation. We will have the answers to that this week as the markets play out. All right. So that's the S&P 500. Now, the thing that I do like about the S&P 500 is that price is trading above the moving averages. Okay, so that again, that confirms our bullish direction here until that no longer works. Now let's dial back to the Russell. The Russell is also in a squeeze. So, okay, yeah, the Russell is also in a squeeze here. And what's interesting about this one is that although it's in a squeeze, it is still under its 200 moving average right up here. So this is a key level of resistance that is trading up under, which makes things interesting. But it is in a squeeze, okay? And we got some buy trade, we got some mixed signals in here, really. But the question is going to be, can the Russell clear this zone here? Or does it get rejected and fall apart? Because it's squeezing. All right, we see the breadth narrowing here, but we do have a buy trigger in here. So if this can push through, we'll be looking at about 15. It's going to try to get to the $1,500 level. That's off the gate, right? 1,500. The market likes whole numbers, so that's your first level, and then you get right up in here around 1,550 if it fires long. Now, I actually like this if this is a bullish setup. I mean, if it plays out. Just because, the price is not overextended as the Nasdaq is. So the Nasdaq, again, those evaluations are just terrible in the Nasdaq. Technology is an interesting space. It's very volatile. You can't really control anything there. Anybody can just come in and take what you get popping off of, like Zoom, for instance. Zoom was popping. And, I think it was Facebook or Google. Somebody launched another app that could do the same thing that Zoom does, right? In fact, we've been doing what Zoom does right here in Wall Street Jack Boys before there was a Zoom. We've been doing this for 3 years in our own platform over here. So, I mean, technology is an interesting space. This is a space that even Warren Buffett himself don't even touch because, like I just said, it's so much changes with technology. Even myself with Wall Street Jack Boys, you also saw the website. I mean, so many things are changing. So I'm trying to get as much information I can so I can deliver the best value, but it's just lots of volatility there. But that makes a great environment for speculation. So you see a lot of the traders just pumping things up. The Dow, as Dustin pointed out here, is the Dow squeezing as well. However, it is still trading under this key resistance level. So we got to, keep an eye on that. It's not at the most desirable, price level here. We still see that it's still in that overbought territory. But I think that, it's still better positioned than where the Nasdaq is at. The Nasdaq is definitely due for a pullback. It's overpriced. We can see the highs back here on the Dow. So this lets us know that we're not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to tell that we're not overpriced here. Okay, so we know where people are willing to buy this thing at. If I'm an investor, I'd rather buy this than buy the Nasdaq, even though I know they're trying to forecast, future events. Is just why you want to buy the highs. I want to come in at an advantage. But this is going to be interesting to see how this pulls off. Okay. Why? Because although it's in the squeeze, it's down here at this 100 moving average, which is a support level. Okay. Ideally, we want to see this thing come up right up in here. Okay. But we saw where it got rejected right here at the 618. So we already know these are key levels that this thing has to clear. And this 200 moving average is the 786. So these are two key targets of resistance up ahead. And we want to be able to see this thing start to make a move upwards, but I don't see a story for it. And so this could turn into a afflicted double tops. It could be. That's the bear case scenario. Now, what will confirm this, bear case scenario is, if the country goes back on a lockdown again. So that's risk that we have to deal with. We got lots of cases spiking up on the radar right now. And, I don't know if these politicians are trigger finger itchy to pull those levers to lock things back down. But it's lots of rumors about them, putting us on a second lockdown. So if that's the story, if that event comes, to pass, then, we'll see the markets tank from that. Well, not necessarily tank, but at least pull back, healthy pullback, which is what we really need. So that's what I see on the big picture side. Now, taking a look here at the dollar, let me just cover the dollar real quick. Very, very interesting, situation here with the dollar. We covered it last week when we talked about the dollar, where we have a lot of economists there, debating about if the dollar is going to rise, if it's going to fall, and the reason. So we covered that in the last, video live. I didn't do an edited version of that one, so you can have to go back and watch the live version. But if I, do an edit one, I'll let you guys know to post. It just takes a lot of time and resources, and I'm not too sure if that's the best use of my time. So it depends on how people are reacting towards it. I don't mind going all out, but if people are not reacting towards it, then it's kind of letting me know to scale back on delivering all this value. You don't show up to class. So the interesting thing, again, I keep on talking about, we have to watch the dollar. The dollar's in a squeeze. Okay. The trend is going down on here, but it's in the oversold territory, which it makes it trifling a little bit. But yeah, just looking at the price itself, is trading under its moving averages. So, I mean, the case here would be to, look further south for this thing, the rollover. However, you could be seeing a double bottom, which would be a bounce. This could be that, bull case scenario for the dollar. But the thing is the dollar rise, then the equities are going to come down. So that wouldn't be good for the stock market. So that double bottoms will, make up for the double tops that we were looking at. All right. Thank you, Donald. Say go all out. I appreciate it, my man. So that will fulfill that whole little prophecy right here. But the dollar's coming down. The value of the dollar is coming down. Inflation is going up, right? Fed's printing money. They're talking about dropping another stimulus package. Lots of debates about how that's going to work. And so it makes sense for the dollar to come down, inflation to rise up, right? That seems to be the thing that makes sense. But the dollar could go up, because of countries, their debts are denominated in dollars, so they had a demand to get the dollar to pay their debts. So that's the two cases on that. But just remember, if the dollar goes up, the stock market goes down. If the dollar goes down, stock market goes up. So with this bear squeeze on here, sell trigger right up in there. I'm looking for this to go further down. All right, let's make the case for gold, which tagged those new highs. Did y'all get in on that gold? All right, all right. Y'all already know the case for gold. Gold is the move. You already know where I stand on this. Gold, and not just gold, but gold and silver, right? I posted several videos. We posted several articles. In fact, let me go to the blogs real quick. You can see it right here. Gold is real money. It's one of the last articles I wrote. But it's right on the website. Information is free. So just make sure you go check it out. so you can understand why we've been long gold for so long, right? And so you can understand how money works. So make sure you get your hands on that. So that's been a major component there. And we're seeing gold coming to fruition, right? And let me actually, let's actually pull this back some. All right. So we can clear this level out the way. This is the move in gold. Tag this 127 extension right here. And, you know, it's an overbought territory up there. So it's due for a pullback. I think that any pullback on gold is a buy. Okay. So, you know, we pull back here, especially here. I mean, everybody want to buy it here. I mean, geez Louise, why would you not? 1700. Let's get it. I don't see the case for that, you know, for gold going that low. You know, we may bounce around here, maybe to the lowest down here if it comes down this low. And I'm definitely a buyer right up here at this zone. Why? Because the physical gold itself, they don't have enough of it. They can't get it out the ground fast enough. So the demand, it tells the story. We know there's high demand for gold, and we know the reason why gold is going up. And you know, again, I'm long gold this whole case. Again, we're in a recession. We're calling for a greater depression. My outlook is, you know, bearish, you know, for the long term. However, there's some moves to make in the market now. In fact, there's lots of talks. We've been talking about it for a long time about the crash of the dollar. The dollar's days are numbered. We don't know what the number is, when that number is going to be, but it's going to be probably within the next 2 to 5 years. Okay. Relatively soon, with all the expansion of credit and money and the deficits out of this world, the bailouts, and you know, you have a political, you know, agendas, election year. And so the key is going to be keep on trying to, you know, make people feel like you're helping them while destroying the dollar at the same time. So I think this is interesting. And I point this out because I saw an article about Jack Dorsey. I don't know if you guys know Jack Dorsey, the guy who started Twitter, CEO of Twitter, excuse me. But Jack Dorsey's supposed to be rolling out a universal basic income program with like 14 mayors. And I don't know if he's already started or not. But you guys remember when I was telling you when I was taking my artificial intelligence classes and I was learning machine learning. One of the things that no, excuse me, that was my data science class. The teacher led us to some articles and was talking about Silicon Valley. And this is before Andrew Yang. This is before all of this. This is something that's been baked in the cake from the Silicon Valley. And they've been talking about, you know, because of technology, you know, humans just can't, you know, you're not going to be able to compete. So we're going to have to find a way to keep people happy. And so that's the political side of things, to try to keep people happy so that you can get votes and things like that. And so you had like Andrew Yang that ran on the whole idea of $1,000 a month or whatever it was, where the government's going to just pay for everybody to live, right? That actually destroys capitalism as you know it. So you guys, again, these are economic principles that we're dealing with here, but they're all going to be politicized. And these debates have been happening, you know, for for decades, if not centuries, right? Whether it was, you know, Marxists, you know, whoever, right? It's always the same thing that come around over and over again. So with Ray Dalio provided this framework that we covered several times on his channel. He's been, you know, prophesying this whole thing, and he's a, you know, billionaire, a genius, and he's, you know, calling out these cycles that happen over and over again. We're at that point of the cycle where you got to have the revolutions and all of that. But it seemed like to me, all cases lead to a greater push for socialism. I just can't say it enough, but it's one of my greatest fears, because I actually see socialism happening. Because of all the chaos that's happening right now. And the blame will be based on capitalism, although it's not capitalism that's the problem. We actually need more capitalism. We don't have enough capitalism. A lot of the pains that we're actually going through are coming from, you know, the Federal Reserve and government, you know, manipulating a lot of these things. So, but it is what it is. So I just, you know, want to bring that up just because, you know, they are doing their best. They're going to destroy this whole system. and it's all to digitize everything. I saw articles, you guys probably saw it too, where a lot of companies, you know, we already talked about the coin shortages and all that, but a lot of these companies are starting to no longer accept cash, right? I saw signs at Pizza Hut, signs at Bojangles, signs at these restaurants that's no longer accepting cash for whatever reason. Some of them saying because coronavirus, you can catch the virus from, you know, touching cash, whatever excuse it is. This is a greater push to go to digital currency, right? And I've been, you know, talking about this for a long time. A couple of my guys who do the cryptos, you know, I met out in Virginia and told them that, you know, what my, I guess it's what, a year, 2 years ago, what my hypothesis was going to be is that, you know, they are making a digital currency. There's the government, the Federal Reserve, they got Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all of them working on digital currency. And they have to test it. And, you know, if you ever traded like Bitcoin, I mean, it's like a roller coaster, right? That's why I don't trade it, but it's really hard. When we trade stocks, you can kind of predict these things, certain factors, right? You know, hurricane season coming up, you can kind of predict that, hey, Home Depot is probably going to make the money or Lowe's is going to make, you can predict that, but Bitcoin is just crazy and it don't shut down. It's like all through the day. So, you know, I was telling them that, hey, I don't think a lot of those cryptocurrencies are going to survive. Bitcoin may, I don't know about the rest of them. You know, you may have the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the Litecoin, whatever those most popular ones are that may survive, but eventually they're going to, you know, the US is going to, you know, they're going to launch a digital dollar. You know, that's the way it's got to be. In fact, China's already launched their digital currency, right? And they are gunning for the world reserve currency. And I think they want it to be their digital yuan. And so these are, you know, principles that Ray Dalio and everybody's already been talking about. The business cycles themselves, you know, there have been people way before Dalio to discover these things. And they consistently happen over and over again. So that's why my outlook is actually bearish, okay? Calling for a greater depression. So, but as long as that's continuing to happen, gold is going to go up, okay? Gold is going to go up. And so again, just remember the long-term thing on this is, if I can pull back, is that I got my levels in here. I got that 2000 zone. It's a hot zone for me. That's why it's red. But if I dial it in here, you know, anytime you got banks that's saying that gold is going to be at 3,000, which is Bank of America here to be specific, I mean, that just furthers my case. Where I already made my case before Bank of America came out with their announcement, right? We made whole videos and everything. And this is what, way back here. Way back here, and we've been riding up along the way. But this is Bank of America target 3,000. So I keep that, you know, marked in here, which, you know, again, that's very interesting that they have that target. So what is it that Bank of America sees that nobody else is seeing? You got to think in that kind of way. Now, because gold is going up, you also have silver that's tracking. All right. So we had a really, really nice rally in here on silver. Anybody that's been following my work, you already know we caught the bug in silver when it crashed and it floored up. And I was like, boom, I'm in here, right? Straight buying, not the paper silver, but the physical silver, right? All along the way, right? All along the way. Okay. So silver had a nice rally last week, right up into this. Now it hasn't hit a new high, although gold has hit its new high. So silver still got some work to do here. But right now we see it's holding right up against this extension here. So we want to see it, you know, clip that extension and continue to move up to the $20 target, right? So $20 is definitely the next target for silver. But I think we may get some consolidation up in here for this week. Again, any pullback the same way on gold, any pullback on silver is a buy for me. You know, if it comes back down here, right here, that's the buy, buying more. Okay. So cool. And in fact, on our website, we do have the gold and silver group. If you guys haven't noticed, let me actually go to if you're on the news feed, there is a gold group in here. So anybody we have groups on the website. Okay. So, again, I teach the options and everything, but we have other, you know, communities in here that you can communicate about other things, but you got the gold and silver group that's right there. So again, you can, you know, join the group, get into, you know, everything that's popping in there. All right. So with that being said, and I was just rolling out here for you guys that missed game night. So we had a game night. This is our second time doing game night. The first time I did game night, everybody was excited about it. Everybody was like, hey, can you run game night back again? And I was like trying to find the time to do it. Everything has been crazy, with this whole pandemic and all of that. But I wanted to find some time that we can actually run another game back, because it's not just any kind of game. It's not like Monopoly or anything like that, but it's very similar. But it's like basically you being the money manager. How are you going to manage your money throughout the different times? And so I want to give a huge shout out to the winners. You guys who missed it, make sure you catch the next one. Okay. And I forgive y'all who couldn't make it because you had to work or whatever you had to do. No love lost, right? But several invites went out to you guys. So if you're not getting the invites, make sure you tell Google to stop blocking. The algos blocking Wall Street Jap Boys out your inbox. Turn those notifications on. Turn the YouTube notifications on, so when we go live, you get the notification automatically, right? But anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to Jamie. She won game number 1 from the game night. She did an outstanding job. She beat me by like $10,000. Okay, she whooped everybody up, and she's not even a trader. Okay, so phenomenal job to Jamie and her husband Mark. Mark is in here. Mark trained her very, very well. Awesome couple there. Game number 3, we did 3 games because we ended up missing my man Jonathan. He couldn't get in, so we got Jonathan in there, and Jonathan basically won game number 3. So we're gonna give Jonathan a shout out as well. We had an awesome, fun time, and it was a game that teaches you guys, how to manage your money. And the number one theme, and I posted a testimony from Jamie. She told you what I was saying, right? Cash is trash. So you got to learn how to work that cash. And then I'll try to get an edited version out this week. Okay. So just want to bring that back. Shout out to Jamie and shout out to Jonathan. So thank you guys for participating. I appreciate it. All right, cool. With that being said, let's take a look at some plays here real quick, and then we'll bring the session to a close. Actually, what I want to do is, in fact, before I do that, let me show you guys something real quick. And when you're on the website, you can go right here. You see your little icon. You have a little menu right here. You can click that menu right there, and there's going to be a menu that you can access some other things that you don't see on your screen. So you go in here. But one of those things that you can access here would be the Wall Street Jap Boys Trading Journal, which, of course, you got to have Microsoft Excel to use it. But it's a phenomenal tool that I created to help with my trade management. But, again, you can get it there. Let me actually just give you a little preview of that. OK, so again, this is the Trading Journal here real quick. Just show you guys. This helps with trading, helps me with my trading. It's phenomenal. So much that you can do. I'm not going to give you a full tutorial. I just want you to see there's lots of things that you can do in here. Okay, it covers a lot of different things, letting you know your best trades, blah, blah, your notes and all of that. Okay, and then it had this pretty cool goal tracker that I got in here. So this goal tracker, I wanted to introduce this because when I started trading, one of the issues that I had when I started out was over trading. And I needed a cure for over trading, because what will happen in over trading is that I will make all this money, and then I'll get cocky, of course, like most people do. And then I will continue to trade, and then I will lose. I will give the market back the gains that I took. And so we had an old trading journal, the old school. It's still there. So when you go to that one, you can still get the old one if you want. It's still there. But this is the new one. So both of the links are there, and it tells you this is 3.0. But in this one here, you got the goal tracker, and you set your own goal. I don't set your goal. OK, I'll just show you guys here real quick. This is the goal tracker right here. So for every month, you can change your goal to whatever you specify that to be. All right. Anything that's blue on this journal, you actually control yourself. You can go in and manipulate anything that's blue. If it's not blue, don't touch it. So this again, this colors in blue. You can touch it. This is blue. You could touch it. This is blue. You could touch it. So you can go back years and blah, blah, and track your goal. And then over here, you have a little note section. It tells you, so you can keep up with what went right and what went wrong. OK, so you can also like put snapshots, take pictures, but you got to store it on your device or what have you. And then you could just right click on and sell, you know, whatever you put your text at, and you can put this little snapshot right up in there. Just go to link, and then you can just link a picture to it, right? And then you can always have that as a reference so you can figure out what went right, what went wrong. You can actually do that back here on your individual symbol names, on your stock symbols back here, okay? So anyway, I just want to show you this here because this is going to be a lifesaver for you, because often we get cocky and often we start over trading, right? You make some money and you want to actually try to get this thing under control, running like a business. So what you do is you'll set yourself a goal, okay? And say for instance, you can set any of these numbers to what you want, right? So if I say I have a $500 goal, bingo. This is basically automatically adjusting for you, okay? So you see where your goal is at, and all of these numbers that's in here, they're going to pre-fill for you as you're filling in your trades, all right? It's going to tell you the amount of trades that you've traded for the month. So you'll know when you're over trading. You know how many trades you have on. It's going to tell you your wins, your losses, your scratches, and your profits, right? How much money you've made, okay? Once you hit your goal, it doesn't matter what Pierre Lawson is doing, what Wall Street Jack Boys is doing. It don't matter what Warren Buffett is doing, or what's the guy named Tim Sykes, or whatever guru is out there is doing. When you hit your goal, that is letting you know to stop trading. Okay. This is important. You're going to need some breaks, right? You're going to need some time to decompress, but you also want to capture your monies. Okay. So anything that you make over your goal, there's lots that you could do with your goal settings here. You could pay and all that stuff, but you don't want to give back the gains that you have received from the markets. So this is going to help you to keep that under control. So, hey, you hit that goal in one day, you're done for the month, basically. Okay. You really are. So you really don't necessarily have to trade every day. Although you may see other people trading every day, that doesn't mean that you should be throwing trades on every day. A lot of these guys are running businesses. They got to, you know, entertain or whatever they're doing. Trade what makes sense. Trade the setups. Okay. Don't trade all the news. Trade the setups. Get your money. Get your bag and get up out of there. All right. Because it's a tricky market. It's very treacherous right now. Fundamentals is not holding the markets up. Not at all. So it's very treacherous. So you definitely want to use the trading journal during these times to help you with that. I just wanted to try to show you guys that a little bit. Again, it's not a full-blown tutorial, what have you. This is just to show you that this is available just in case you did not know that it was on here. It is pretty cool. It's going to let you know what symbols worked out for you, what strategies worked out for you, what kind of monies you made, symbols and all of that. It's got a lot of extra things to tell you about yourself. Trading is a self-mastery game. You know, everybody is different for everybody. You're going to have to learn how to master you. So again, this is available on the website. You just go down here and go to the trade journal. And you know, if you already have it, then you get the lifetime updates for free. It's only like 97 bucks for the trade journal. So again, if you want to use that, you can definitely use it. It's there. All right. So with that being said, let's take a look at a couple of trades here. All right. You guys got anything on your radar? Let me know. As far as, let me see, as far as what was moving or what's moving in the setups right now, I see some interesting things in the market. I see a possible head and shoulders imprint coming in on the sector. So let me just out real quick. All right. And so I'm looking at situations like this in the healthcare sector, you know, looking almost like a head and shoulders, if you will, trying to form in here. All right. And so that's a print that I want to watch out for. I'm not saying that that's what it's going to be, but it's looking like that's what's shaping up. So I find that to be very interesting, not just in that, but also in the consumer staples, which, you know, it's another interesting situation, probably even more here, just because it's up against that 200 resistance that it hasn't been able to clear. Okay, that's the head. And then this could be the shoulder. Again, we got to see it play out. But this is a bear setup, basically. You know, it goes back. So I definitely want to keep my eye out for that on the short side. As far as the long side, again, you know, the Nasdaq is just going, you know, berserk over here. And the Wall Street Jack Boys scanner here, again, if you got the classes, then the scanner is in there for you, so that you can find some good trades in here. So I'm gonna just pull these straight from here. I got squeeze set up right here on target. I don't know what this company is, Rio, and then this company, MU, Micron. These are the companies that already got some setups on them. Okay, so let's look at target. Target is in an interesting situation. It's in a squeeze. The thing about this squeeze is that it's a long squeeze, and I hate long squeezes. They're more challenging than our normal squeezes that are like, 6 to 8 sessions here. This is a very long one. So I hate long squeezes. But the stock itself is still trading above this 50 moving average. It's right here at the 9, like it's trying to come up above that. Because it has a squeeze, it has some power in it for it to fire long. Where we could see this thing again, it's got a course clear to 618. But then I have this 130 target on it for target. Now, interesting thing is I think this week another interesting scenario was Walmart, which that's also, I think I posted it on the website. Yep. So again, you go straight here to the news feed. You get all the juicy stuff right here. I can just pull this right off the website for you guys. Walmart launched Walmart Plus. Okay, they're trying to compete directly with Amazon. Now, just so you understand, Amazon is light years ahead of everybody, so I don't think nobody's ever going to be able to catch up with Amazon. But it's interesting because what Walmart has that Amazon doesn't have is they got the lockdown on their brick and mortar stores at the same time. So Walmart stocks popped on Friday, I believe it was a Friday or whenever it was, this past week because of this news. So, excuse me, I said Friday, 5 days ago. So that's when it popped, based off of that news. So obviously their investors are excited about that. So that's a feed that's right on the website. And so Walmart is right in here. Target is in here. In fact, let me look at the retail ETF. Yeah, and the retail ETF is in the squeeze as well. So if you want something of less volatility, you still want to make that play, you can actually do this XRT retail sector. It's in the squeeze as well. And it's trading above all its moving average. So the setup actually looks better than everything else. So that's an interesting one. All right, MU. Let's see, Micron Technology. This is another one pulled right off the scan right here. It's in the squeeze, trading above its moving average. And we do have our buy trigger that's right here. You can see every time in the past, and that buy trigger came in here, we made some money back there. And so the squeeze is right here. Okay, so we got the trend and everything is moving up. All the stars in alignment, basically. And so, again, this is another bullish setup in here. Let me see if I can get like a target on this thing. All right, so this one here from where it's at now to at least a 786 is about a 5-point move, about a 4-point move. Okay, so that's where I see this going. What else we got? Aeon, ADP, Starbucks. Okay, fellas, I got you. All right. ADP. What we got coming up for ADP? ADP has just jumped into a squeeze itself. Let's pull this up here. It is an overbought territory. It's in a squeeze, and it's looking like it's falling under this 100. Okay, I find that to be interesting because it's starting to look like it's going to be a short squeeze. These are tricky though. Okay. Understand that this, if you're going to play it to the short side, if it pop back up on this level, that's your risk. Okay. It comes down, then you all make, you're making money. Okay. So it is in a squeeze. I don't think I want to play it to the long side, although it could go long. If it goes long, then this is your resistance area right up in here. You have earnings coming up on here. So I'm more inclined to lean short on this one. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, last signal was a short right here overbought territory. On the faster cast, it's starting to turn up a little bit, so it may chop around. We'll see. Not that clear, but I'm more leaning with a bias to the short on that. Starbucks. Same thing on this one as well. You know, these starting to look like, you know, we was talking about those setups earlier, those head and shoulders kind of look, you know, setups. You see how like that shoulder right there, that head right there? It's like it's got that broke shoulder right up in here. It might try to pop up right up in here to shake some money out. But that's definitely looking like a head and shoulders right there. So I will watch out for that setup, which again, that's a bearish setup. Squeeze is intact. So we'll see if it can break out of it. But because that pattern is there, I have to be a little more skeptic on it. And I'm leaning towards the path of that pattern. All right. BA, all depends on which direction the Dow moves next week, but very clear levels to trade, and it's squeezing. Okay, so you want to play with Boeing. Again, the Boeing situation, I'm leaning short on this one again. It's trading under its moving averages, of course. Damn sure ain't about to clear that 200. And the 100 is having, issues with, staying above that. And the 9 is starting to cross the 50 right here. So we're at a crucial zone. It is in a squeeze. It could come up. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of speculators that's in the market right now that's trying to push these things up. I don't think it's worth it, though. So you got earnings coming up right now. Just keep that in mind. If you're going to play this to the long side, then, this will be the target. This is a very optimistic target, though. If I put the Fibonacci on there, you can come to the 100 retracement, which is about 220 right here. I can eye it. So about 220, that's if you're, super optimistic. But again, I'm leaning short on here. You can look at this. I think this thing is definitely due to get, corrected in there. In fact, if you look at the, let's look at the defense sector, the same thing. Okay. So the sector itself is we had a squeeze dot that's firing short. That was just a 1 dot squeeze. So nothing major, but again, you saw how it got rejected right up in here, chopping around, come down, bouncing, got rejected right here at the 100, and it's down here at the 786. And again, it's like it's on its way down. And so the sector itself is moving down. The individual name within the sector should follow suit. So we should see. Tesla. So Jonathan, you still want to play Tesla? I have no levels on Tesla, actually. Tesla is so high, it's out of this world right now. Again, it needs to come back to its mean. When is that going to happen? I don't know. I think that this, again, Tesla, I talked about it earlier, that I believe that it's getting pumped up before its earnings coming up. Earnings is going to tell us the truth. So we need to see what this earnings is going to be. And this thing can continue to go up. And that's no problem. I don't see that not being a reality. It can keep on coming up, but Tesla is not worth this. It's definitely not worth this. So ideally, I wouldn't want to be the one to short it. The shorts has been getting their ass handed to them trying to short Tesla. And I'm pretty sure they're probably a piling up to short this thing right up in here. It should come down to this mean, but do you want to be the buyer at this high? I don't want to be the buyer at that high. That's just ridiculous, But this little bull flag played out pretty nice, though. But again, not my cup of tea. CPB, let's see what we got. All right. Oh, Campbell Soup. Another interesting scenario in here. So it looks like it's been a while since I did this one here. Those levels are still looking pretty good, so I'm going to keep them intact. Let me just add this level in here. All right, cool. So Campbell Soup, you're right here up in this zone right up in here. Let's go with the 618 on this one because the other one, let me actually get rid of that other level. All right, cool. So just taking a look at it up in here. You're coming up against the 618. It is a bull squeeze up in here. So again, I'm bullish just because of all what I'm seeing quickly here. Understand first, first hurdle is going to be right up in here. The target is to get back to this 55. So that's the target right there, 55, a 5-point move in Campbell. So I do like that to for a long play. All right, so my man Xavier. Okay, I see you. You say you're looking at, oh, you said, did I miss Aeon? Did I? Let me actually go back to it. My apologies, Ron. All right, so Aeon, again, these things, they got to clear this 200. The squeeze is firing long now, but it's not like a big move in there. So 200 is clearly having issues with clearing that 200 right here. So that's interesting, just because that's possibly looking like a shoulder and another head and shoulder. So again, typically when we start calling out patterns like that, you can see them printed throughout the markets. You'll see them, printed on sectors and several different stocks. And so for me, they stick out like a sore thumb as a theme to look at. Doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen, but that's what's forming in these things. And so for that reason, I don't like it for the long side. I don't actually. So, cool. Beyond Meat. Yep. Somebody, was that Xavier called it out? Okay, cool. Same thing here. Head and shoulders. You are correct there. And these levels that hasn't been able to clear. It's looking like it's starting to break down to that head and shoulders. Price is right here at 50. You got the 100 down here. You got the 200 down here. So if this thing plays out, it should come down here. By the time it comes down here, it'll probably be at the 618. Short trigger right there. So yes, I am looking short on that as well. My man Terry, let's see, GoDaddy. Yeah, this is an interesting one here. Let me it's been a while since I actually charted this one. Let's come back some. Now what we can obviously see is that the price is coming down here. But what we are seeing is that it was an oversold territory. So it's saying that they sold it off all the way down here, and now we're getting the dip buyers that's coming in. We can see that momentum pushed up in here. Okay, now I haven't seen the momentum shift here yet. Momentum is still bleeding red. If we get the switch to yellow like it did back here, then we know we have a shift of momentum, to come up to the long side. So we do have a buy trigger right up in here, but I would need for momentum to shift to play this thing to come back up. So it's more like a counter trend. So it's not, it's one of those things that just you need to see the momentum shift upwards before you actually get in. Understand that these are your hurdles. The 50 up top, the 20 right there. Let me actually go. Okay, 618. So to 618, close to about $80. That's where they would like to. This is where this thing would like to move to if it bounces. Okay. And so I do see a case for a bounce play that's forming. So again, I like this as a bounce play, but I need to see that momentum kick into gear, and then it needs to clear this 50, and I'll be aiming at a target right up here. Okay, what else we got? Yeah, that's interesting. What was that company that just bought? It was geez Louise, I can't even remember. I want to say it was DoorDash. We posted on the website. I can't remember which one it was. But these rideshare companies are trying to collab with these food delivery companies. And we've seen a shift in business from that. Was it Postmates? So Postmates, excuse me. Yeah, so Postmates is what it was. And who bought Postmates, Jonathan? Who was it? I remember we talked about that, but that's starting to shift. I mean, these companies, Uber, so it's Uber buying Postmates. That's going to be a squeeze on their cash starting out. So, Not too sure how that's going to play out because Uber, they really haven't been positioned that well. But, you know, I think that may be a good move, though. But this is what the technicals are showing us. You got, you know, your 618 right up in here. It's key level of resistance. So if you're thinking about doing anything long, understand this is going to be a major hurdle right here. And then if you can get to this level, that's clearly going to indicate the bounce play with a target up here to the 127 extension. But keep in mind, the earnings come up here. And, you know, after their last earnings, you know, they got wrecked. So we'll see what happens up here. So thank you, Jonathan. That's what I feel about that. Oh, yeah. So again, what we're looking at right now, the markets are slightly up right now. We can see over here at the futures, they're slightly up. This can change at any given time, but it's always optimistic to when you see that the markets are up pre-market. We'll see how this all plays out tomorrow. So I believe those are the major things that I want to cover with you guys. Anybody have any questions or anything like that? You know, let me know. We'll handle those. Again, make sure you check out the website. If you are an old timer, haven't visited in a while, lots have changed. Make sure you come to the website right here. Make sure you go to the courses. Make sure you get the training. If you haven't gotten the training, then you definitely need a training. If you already trained, you can still join us. Actually, register for the website is actually free. You know, we do charge for the courses, and that's for right now. So again, this is the courses right here. You got your lessons right up in here. You got all the topics that's included, your quizzes, and your certifications. So make sure that you enroll if you haven't. Make sure you do that. And hey, that's what it do, man. I appreciate you guys showing up, and we'll catch up in the markets this week. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.